Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the 104th episode of the Retrotopia podcast. My name's Alan, and today we are finally treating ourselves to a dive into the universe of Dragon Ball Z and looking at Dragon Ball Z Budokai, released for the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube, as well as probably other things. I should have done some research. Before we get into all of that, though, of course, I just need to get the plugs out of the way. So if you are just here for the Dragon Ball Z talk, and trust me, there is plenty of it, then spin on about 25 minutes up the road and you'll get to the game chat. But we hope you stick around because, you know, there's lots of fun things in our little intro. We get to talk to the Patreons, we get to play some games, and yeah, it's a good time. So stick around. All right, let's get these plugs out of the way. Linktree/Retrotopia, that's linktr.ee/Retrotopia, where you can find all things Retrotopia, including all of our social medias. Come find your platform of choice and like and share and all of that cool stuff that you're supposed to do to get the word of Retrotopia out there. You can find our TeePublic, our Dashery page, where you can deck yourself out in some fantastic, swanky Retrotopia clobber. Come and check out all of our fantastic merch designs there. Brian's done a fantastic job on all of those. You can find our Discord, which we heartily encourage you to join because we've cultivated something of a nice non-toxic little corner of the internet there where with a bunch of like-minded individuals come and gather and talk about games and films and comics and all sorts of matters nerdy. It's a great time. You can also find our Patreon, which is free to join at the base tier, where you get access to a bunch of bonus content. You get Retrotopia a couple of days early. You get access to our quick play series, where either Sam, Brian, or I think sometimes Joe, yeah, that guy, will pick a small game to review, something not quite long enough for a main episode of the show, but something we just feel like talking about. You can write into the show, you can vote in polls, you can just get involved in all things Retrotopia. We do have a hero tier for $2, which gets you all of the above, as well as access to our New Game Plus show, which is basically a more or less monthly modern game review show, most of the time. Yeah, sometimes we just talk about whatever the hell we like, and that's a good time. You also get to pick a game for our quick play series, so you can choose a game and throw it at the host of your choice and either punish or reward them as you see fit, and a bunch of other stuff. Go and check it out. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I've completely forgotten what it is we offer because there is just so damn much of it. Something that is available, of course, to all members of the Patreon is the ability to write into our 9-bit banter box, which we're going to do now because, as it is written down here, it is, what does that say? Oh, culturally elegant. Alrighty then, first up on the box, right out of the gate, I'm going to have to pronounce this, it's Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, yeah, there we go, who says, I have my old NES connected to a CRT TV, my 4 and 6-year-old sons are getting interested to play it. Unfortunately, most games are too difficult for a 4-year-old, so he cannot join in. Which NES games would you recommend for a 4-year-old? Well, first of all, an NES connected to a CRTV is absolute money. That is vintage as fuck, and yeah, it is the way to play that system. As for games, that's a tricky one because, as anyone who grew up in that era will know, a lot of those games are notorious for being NES hard, so I don't think it's necessary to sort of play a game to completion to enjoy it. I think, you know, kids can get a lot of enjoyment out of a game just by playing. I think a lot of the Disney games, like your DuckTales, like your Chip 'n Dale, I think Chip 'n Dale is actually probably a good choice because that game it's got some challenge to it, but I think as far as NES games go, it's fairly easy, so that might be a good place to start. I mean, what else? My temptation is to say something like The Legend of Zelda because, you know, it does encourage that exploration, and it can be hard, I'll grant you that, but it can be a lot of fun just to poke around in that world. You don't really need to succeed at it to enjoy the exploration aspect of it. What else? I don't know, just you know what, just stick them on Castlevania 3 and just tell them to get good, you know. Get them hooked at a young age, and they'll be making money on these like Evo competitions and things like that by the time they're 20, and you can retire. So there we go. Thank you very much. Next up, Avindali, who says, Alan, my wife and I hope to go to Scotland in about 5 years or so. We hear it's a beautiful place. My question for you is, have you been, and what are some must-see places? I've not been to Scotland, actually. I've always wanted to, because it seems like a fantastic place to go. I mean, there's the obvious like sightseeing places like, you know, Loch Ness and stuff like that. I hear that Edinburgh is a very sort of rich and thriving and culturally sophisticated city, which, you know, I've always wanted to go to. I think there's a lot going on there, a lot of the arts, comedy, stuff like that. You're gonna got like Edinburgh Fringe Festival and things, and it just seems like quite a buzzing place to go. Me personally, I've always wanted to go on a tour of some of the islands in Scotland, like Islay, which has some of my absolute favourite whiskey distilleries there, and I've always sort of had that dream of going on a bit of a tour of some of these whiskey distilleries and just sampling something from everyone. Has anyone I mean, I know a bunch of you must have seen Parks and Rec, but you know when Ron Swanson goes to the distillery up in Scotland, I actually want to go. That is a fantastic whiskey, Lagavulin, and I would like to go there and just feel what he felt, because I know that was a beautiful experience. So there we go. A sensible answer and the drunken answer, because it is me. The Big Deal says, who did the better or worse job of naming their kids? Mick Foley, who named his sons Huey, Dewey, and a third not named Louis, or Alec Baldwin with sons Raphael and Leonardo, but did not name the next two boys Michelangelo and Donatello? Oh, geez, you know what? I think they both kind of failed, because how are you going to have Huey, Dewey, and not Louis? And then how are you going to have... I'm assuming that Alec Baldwin... I don't know. I'm assuming he has 4 kids, which is why you've said the next two are not named Michelangelo and Donatello. So why would you not have the set? That being said, I mean... Do you know what? I'm going to say that Alec Baldwin did the worst job, because... I mean, how are you gonna name 2 kids Raphael and Leonardo and not have like Michelangelo and Donatello? You know what? Leonardo is the lamest of the turtles, I think. So if he'd have named it Raphael and like Michelangelo or Donatello and left Leo out, then he would have won. But because he went with Leonardo, I think he loses. Plus, I'm not going to argue with Mick Foley, because I'm pretty sure he could still kick my ass. So yeah, I want to avoid that kind of heat. Next up, Blue Yoshi 94 says, Alan, what do you use for tracking your game collection? I use this app, and I'm just going to look it now. It's called... I don't know quite how to say it. It's spelled Gameye, like Gameye. I think it's supposed to be like Game Eye, but it doesn't have enough letters for that. Gameye. Who knows? But it's literally just an app I downloaded, and it's pretty good. It allows you to log all of your games, how you know, whether you've beaten them, whether you're sort of halfway through. It's got all the systems on there. It's pretty comprehensive, actually, and it's been very, very useful, because I am the kind of idiot who will go into a shop and accidentally buy another game that I already own again. So this has been invaluable in making sure I'm not doubling up on the collection there. But yeah, very useful. Thanks for the question. Hooli the Hunter says, Alan, I hear you enjoy Monster Hunter World. What is your favourite weapon class, and what is your least favourite monster to hunt? I do enjoy Monster Hunter World. I'm not that far in. I've done a bunch, but I've kind of fallen off of it because the schedule has gotten so crazy. I would love to get back to playing it. I'm a dual blades kind of guy. I like that quick, nippy, fast in, fast out kind of attack pattern, and I love the fact that if you pair it with the grapple, you basically turn it into a fucking bladed yo-yo. It's awesome. So definitely the dual blades. And what is my least favourite monster to hunt? Now, this is going to be tricky because I don't actually know all the names of the monsters just yet, but, I'm just trying to think. There was that big fucking dinosaur motherfucker that I needed our very own Joe Fettuccine's help to beat. He would know the name of it. A big red T-Rex looking motherfucker that was just a pain in my arse. So I'm probably going to go with that but it's only because I'm not that far into the game. So there's probably worse, although that was a sticking point for me for quite some time. Thank you very much. Brother Retro says, Brother Alan, as a fellow long-time collector, I've had to sell my collection multiple times over the past 20 years of collecting to help with financial issues in life. So I'm curious, what is your biggest selling regret you've ever had? Mine has to be selling my mint complete in-box Little Samson for $300. Now granted that was the going rate then, but knowing what it's worth now breaks me every time. That or my Panzer Dragoon Saga for $600. Oh, what say you? Oh, I tell you what, if I had Panzer Dragoon Saga, I would not let that go. That is painful. That is a game that that is a white whale of white whales is to get hold of that for my Sega Saturn, but oh god. Oh, can I get by with only one kidney? I don't know. Maybe. I haven't actually... trying to think, because I don't really sell much of the collection. That being said, I mean, if one of the biggest regrets is that our Tower of Power, Sega Mega Drive, Mega CD, and 32X was disposed of. Actually, I think we were actually burgled and that was taken, so that doesn't really count. But that's never sat right with me. I missed that thing. I did sell a Nintendo DS once. I won it actually in a competition at work and had it for a while. And then for some for unknown reason, I got rid of it. I sold it on, and I've never really figured out why I did that. And so that is probably the biggest selling regret, although these days I just keep everything, so I'm not making that mistake again. And finally, fill up my mouth with farts says, Hello Alan, you have been given $10,000 tax-free, with the only caveat being you need to spend it within 15 minutes from entering the store to walking out with your product. Where are you going and what are you buying? Now, I know the obvious choice for this would be something like CEX, the store that's near me that does all the retro games, but it's a good choice, but it's not the best choice. Because yes, I could come out with a bunch of retro games and what have you, but that's about it. I suppose consoles and whatnot as well. I'm going to go to Smith's, which is basically what serves as a Toys R Us for us these days. Because they sell games, so I can buy a bunch of games. Alright, there'll be new games, but I could get myself a Switch 2, I could get myself a bunch of games for whatever systems that they have there, all the current ones. They also do the Arcade 1-Up arcade cabinets, so I'd buy one or two of those as well. And then they also have like a fuckload of toys, which, that sounds awesome. I'd buy myself a bunch of Lego, which they have there. I don't know, a bunch of toys for my kid. Just so much. Just every single Sonic toy that they have there. I'd probably buy myself the WWE World Heavyweight Champion belt that I've had my eye on for the longest time that I just cannot justify picking up because I am a 40-year-old man. But I would have a field day with... I don't even know what $10,000 is in the Great British Pound, and I'm not going to bother looking it up because this has gone on long enough. But that is a fucking brilliant question, Philip. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of you for writing in. Keep it up. Keep it up. We love your questions. But we need to move on. And if I remember correctly, we're going to move on directly to our Retrotopia game show. Ladies and gentlemen, roll up and choose your power-up from the game of the week. You pick a power, we pick a consequence. It's choose one, lose one, the game where everyone's a loser. That's right, guys. It is, of course, choose one, lose one, the game where you pick a power and we fuck your day up. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into it. And first up is Unbuckled Cape, who says, I want to strike amazing poses like the Ginyu Force. That's a good one. Right at the gate. How am I going to ruin this for you? You can strike amazing poses, unbuckled cape, but you can only do it while wearing the tiniest of tiny little pants, just like the Ginyu Force. So if you want to strike the poses, you need to get those pins of yours out, which may or may not be a curse for you. Is definitely not a curse for us, though. I think that's a plus for everyone else here. So I don't know. Kind of rewarding myself on that one. Next up, Avindali says absorbing Krillin just like Cell, and who doesn't want to be known as Cellin? I wouldn't miss that opportunity for the world. Sure, yeah, you can absorb Krillin just like Cell, and you get all of Krillin's abilities, the Destructo Disc, and whatever else Krillin does. I can't think of that. Solar Flare, that's the one. You get all of those abilities, minus the one that everyone really wants. That's right, Android 18 now finds you repulsive to look at and wants nothing to do with you, so you get all of Krillin's abilities except for the ability to be with Android 18. And, sorry. Blue Yoshi 94 says, actually, I'm not sure what Blue Yoshi 94 says here, so I'm going to do my best. But put a 6-letter thing from Dragon Ball in front because I know nothing about this series. I hope you're okay, Blue Yoshi. I'm not sure what that says. I read it verbatim. So I'm just going to say that you get yeah, you're going to get all of that, whatever it is you wanted, and I'm going to give you a full comprehensive knowledge of the entire Dragon Ball mythos, and you're not going to be able to stop telling people all about it, and nobody's going to want to be around you because all you do all day long is talk about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball Super and all of that stuff. And welcome to my life. Yeesh. Brother Retro says, gotta be that Spirit Bomb. Ah, this one's easy, Brother Retro. Yes, you can have the Spirit Bomb or the Genki Dama. But the problem is that it takes so long to charge that you are long dead before you can actually use it. Because it's the Spirit Bomb. So, yeah. Hooli the Hunter says, well, I'm obviously going to choose to be able to go Super Saiyan. And Alan, if you try to make this suck, I'm going to Kamehameha you so damn hard. Yes, Hooli, you can have the ability to go Super Saiyan, but I'm going to take away your ability to Kamehameha. So, yes, you get the power up and all of that good stuff, but you don't get access to the most iconic move in anime history. And yeah, I suppose you could use the Big Bang Attack, the Final Flash, and things like that. But everyone, we all really want to do a Kamehameha. You've seen that meme where it's just like, choose this or choose the ability to do one Kamehameha in your life. I'm not even going to give you that. No Kamehameha for you. So you can't attack me. And Wildcard is going to bring us home with, considering this is Dragon Ball Z, I'm going to choose my power to be the muffin button. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, this is a reference to Team 4 Stars Dragon Ball Z Abridged. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go and watch it. It's absolutely fucking hilarious. And Abridged Vegeta is my absolute favorite animal. I am the hype. Fucking good shit. Yes, Wildcard, you can have the muffin button, but all it does is give you plain bran muffins every time. Nothing fancy, no blueberry muffins, nothing like that. Just the worst of muffins. So enjoy that dry, gross old muffin. There you go. Oh, there we go. Well, thanks for playing, guys. That is always a good time. So now we've got to move on to whatever's next, which I think is this fucking idiot. Listen up, weakling. I'm Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, and I'm here to explain Dragon Ball Z Budokai, a fighting game that lets you relive some of my greatest battles from Dragon Ball Z, including my epic moments, of course. The game was developed by Dimps, a Japanese studio that actually did justice to our power levels. It was published by Infogrames, which later became Atari in the US. It first launched on PlayStation 2 on December 4th, 2002, and later blasted its way onto the Nintendo GameCube on October 28th, 2003. Budokai covers the major sagas from the Saiyans to Cell. So yes, you get to witness Kakarot's pathetic struggle against me, and of course my glorious transformation into a Super Saiyan during the Android Saga. It features story mode, where you follow key battles from the anime, and World Tournament mode, where fighters compete for glory and Zenny. There's also duel mode for one-on-one combat, and a capsule system for customizing special moves and transformations. The visuals may look dated to you Earthlings now, but at the time they captured our likenesses well enough. Each fighter has their own moves, energy blasts, and finishes. You can unleash my Big Bang Attack or even Final Flash, if you're worthy. While it wasn't perfect, Budokai was the first serious attempt to bring the Dragon Ball Z experience to life in 3D combat. And let me tell you, smashing Kakarot into the ground with your own hands, absolutely satisfying. So if you're ready to step into the arena and prove you're not just another Yamcha, Budokai is your chance. But don't expect to beat me. I'm the prince for a reason. And there you have it, the world's worst Vegeta impression. You're welcome, you get that for free. Alright, so before we get into the episode, of course, we like to hear what you guys think of the game that we're talking about. And first up, we've got Dylan Jacobson, who says, Budokai as a whole might be one of the best series of games in the fighting genre. I don't know enough about the fighting genre to either confirm or deny that, but I like that take. I like that enthusiasm. I for one am a big fan of this series of games, although I'm not a fighting aficionado. So agreed. Unbuckled Cape says, "Oh look, a Dragon Ball Z review that isn't Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Warriors. I am not a fighter type of gamer, but I do think I tried this a few times just because I liked Dragon Ball Z." And yeah, I think this is the kind of game that if you are a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z, you'll get a lot out of. And I think a lot of people probably were drawn to this game because of that license. I don't know. I actually don't know what this Legendary Super Warriors is. I'm going to have to look that up and hope I don't get burnt like I did with Dragon Power. You know who you are. Brother Retro says, I know very little about Dragon Ball Z, but for some reason I would play this game for hours as a teenager. Maybe it's my love for fighting games, but I really enjoyed my time with this. Never played another game in the series, but this one specifically I remember being a really fun time. Yes, agreed. Oh god, I played this game for hours as a kid. And it's just nice to know that somebody who doesn't know much about Dragon Ball Z actually got something out of it. So there you go. It's not just for us nerds. And finally, Hooli the Hunter said, this was my first experience with Dragon Ball Z and I absolutely loved it. But once I played Budokai 2, it was hard to go back and revisit. Yeah, I think we touched on that on the episode, Hooli. You know, it kind of walked so the other games in the series could fly and fire beams at each other, and you know, but it is a good place to start. Maybe a little bit dated now, but I'm gonna stop spoiling the entire episode and let's just get into it. So thank you as always, guys, for writing in. We absolutely love hearing from you. Yeah, I had a blast. So speaking of blasts, let's get into talking a little bit of Dragon Ball Z Budokai. So, now that your training is complete, grab a bag of Senzu beans and come along with us as we talk Dragon Ball Z Budokai, released for the PlayStation 2 in 2002 and the GameCube for 2003. Thanks for listening, guys. Enjoy the show. Alright, and we are back to talk a little bit of Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Sorry, Budokai, not the other thing. Released.
Budokai.
That's the one. Released for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, whatever else it's on. And with me, as always, on my left, the strongest under the heavens, it's Brian himself. And to my right, please don't let him stare at a full moon. You won't like it when it happens. It's Sam. Guys, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah, pretty
Finally
good.
talking one of my favorite franchises and one of the games that is associated with it.
Hells yes.
And also a game.
And also a game. Now, I should make this abundantly clear to anyone who's listening to this episode. We are going to talk a lot of Dragon Ball Z Budokai, but we don't know when we're going to get a chance to talk about Dragon Ball in general ever again. So I'm anticipating us going a little bit off topic every once in a while and just talking about Dragon Ball in general. To wit, I have a question for you gents before we get into the game. And I'm going to be doing this
When
a few
when
times.
Goku slaps Bulma in the vagina. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant my favorite moment. Okay.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I'm gonna kick things off with, guys. What is your favorite use of the Kamehameha wave in Dragon Ball? In any, any.
It does not get better than that moment that hooked me where the Gatling gun and the Kamehameha face off for the first time as Vegeta and Goku go toe to toe. And Goku does that Kaioken times 10. I think it was times 4 at the time. And he just blows Vegeta away. I mean, that right there is probably my favorite Kamehameha.
That's a hard one to top. That first beam lock there and when he hits that Kaioken times 4 and literally is just on the back foot, just.
Oh, God. You guys have seen Dragon Ball Z Abridged, right?
Yes,
I've
absolutely.
Yeah, that what they did that part where they're locking their beams together and Goku starts going Kaio and Vegeta's like no.
No. Oh, I fucking love Abridged Vegeta is my absolute favorite animal. Sam, what about you?
I think one of my favorites is the father-son Kamehameha from the Cell Saga. Yeah, where Gohan's like got his arm busted up and he's like down for the count, and then the spirit of Goku helps him, like summon all of his energy for one last one and finish off Cell. That's a pretty cool one.
That is dope. I think both good examples. I had a few, but I think I'm gonna have to go with that original beam lock with Vegeta in the Saiyan Saga. That is just peak drag. That whole. Well, we'll get into it, but that whole Saiyan Saga, Namek Saga is just untouchable. I'd like to throw out a couple of honourable mentions though. I think it's in one of the films. The complete family Kamehameha is fucking awesome. I can't remember who they're
that was the
firing
Return
at.
of Brawley.
That was it. And do you know what? A bit of a more recent one, but that utterly disrespectful one that he fires directly into Kefla's face in Dragon Ball Super is just
That was a good one.
fucking money.
I didn't think we were going to Super on this one.
I mean, it's never going to be the best that you've ever seen, but that I could watch that and have watched that over and over and over again. So fucking good shit. Anyway, Dragon Ball Z Budokai, a fighting game, no less. So we're getting better at these. History. Sam, what's your history with the game?
Oh, I got history with this. And it comes with a story. This comes with a story.
Hit me.
Yeah, it's not as epic as Joe's Pokemon story, but it's in the same vein. This came out when I was in high school, and I think I got it for Christmas because I remember it being cold and snowy when I was first playing this game, and my friends and I got really into it, and we would play it and try to play as many of the tournaments as we can to try to unlock all those capsules to get new moves and stuff and try to unlock all the characters. So we were obsessed with it, and it was final exam time for right before winter break in high school, and we had extended lunch breaks at the time. So I lived pretty close to school. We went back to my house thinking we had enough time to make a pizza and play some Dragon Ball Z before heading back to school for our chemistry exam. We didn't. because we had no concept of time. So we were running really late, and in our high school, when if you were late for an exam, they would like lock the doors. And it was like a more strict, kind of like, if you're late, you're kind of fucked sort of scenario, and you have to use like the makeup periods to take your exam. Well, my best friend's one of my best friend's mom was our chemistry teacher, and he knew like a back way in, and then like we went in through her office and we're late for the exam. So like the exam had started and everyone had their test papers and stuff, and then there were three of us, I think, and or maybe four, but whatever. We all kind of like snuck in the side door of the classroom from the teacher's offices, all like giggling like a bunch of idiots. Like we're like, so we were in quite a bit of trouble for that. So Dragon Ball Z got me in some trouble.
That's gonna be hard to fucking top. That's a good
I
fucking
just like
story.
I was thinking about that as like when we first started playing this, and like kind of like the memories started coming back, and I was thinking about that one day. I was like, what a bunch of assholes we were, thinking that like we were so much, like we could just, oh, no worries, like there are no consequences, we'll just sneak in and take the exam and it's not a big deal. Like what were we thinking? And what were we thinking that we could make it to my house and back and play Dragon Ball Z at our lunch break?
So it's is it fair to say then that Dragon Ball Z Budokai is responsible for your somewhat questionable life choices early on that may or may not have led you to being the kind of guy who sits around doing podcasts with us two idiots?
Yeah, might be.
Maybe if you hadn't played Dragon Ball Z Budokai, you'd be like a Nobel Peace Prize winner or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did fine on my chemistry test. I just felt really bad for, being an asshole.
Brian, you better have something to top that.
Nope, I have no history with this game.
First time?
Yeah, I like Dragon Ball Z, but I didn't like this style of game. Still don't. And I just never bought them. I never bought this, the Budokai Tenshus or Budokai whatever they're called, all the way up until Kakarot. Kakarot was probably the first non-pixelated Dragon Ball I've played. I did try the ones on the Game Boy Advance there, and recently I played Legacy of Goku, and that was... Anyways, we're talking about Budokai. It has kind of some similarities to it, but yeah, it's not my type of game. So I've always strayed away from them, just stuck with the series.
That's fair enough. I mean, it's undeniably a series that lends itself well to video games in general, which is probably why there's so many of them available. But this whole series, like, I would inhale Dragon Ball games of any description back when I was a kid, because I was full-blown obsessed with this series, like rushing home from school to catch an episode, watching it on holiday in a different fucking language, just the whole shebang. Just wherever I could watch it, I was watching it. And we played, me and quite a few of friends of mine played not only this one but 2 and 3 as well, quite a lot. And it was like Sam said, just repeatedly over and over trying to unlock all the capsules, all the characters, all the moves. Because this isn't a long game, but there is a certain amount of depth to it. There's a decent amount of unlockables and what have you that you can sort of work towards in this game, even if sort of the single player campaign is perhaps a little on the light side. But do you know what? One thing that this game doesn't necessarily do all that well is explain the story of Dragon Ball Z. This is very much a game that you have to know, or you have to have watched or read to figure out what's going on, I think. Brian, for those uninitiated among us, perhaps the 3 people who are listening who have never heard of Dragon Ball before, Dragon Ball Z, what's it all about? What is the story of this game?
I never watched Dragon Ball.
You fucker.
Oh man, Dragon Ball Z takes place right after the end of Dragon Ball, the original series. And it all starts off with Goku, and we introduce ourselves to his young son, Gohan, and they are going on a reunion of all the friends from Dragon Ball over at Roshi's Island. And lo and behold, Raditz, the brother of Goku, another Saiyan who Goku finds out he is one of at that point, shows up and kidnaps Gohan. Yada, yada, yada. Shit happens. Vegeta shows up, becoming one of the most iconic characters in animes. And Goku and him fight. And this game follows that story path. And the whole thing is about Goku and his obsession with getting stronger and fighting opponents that are insanely strong. And basically, the Dragon Balls almost take a back seat into this one. Yeah, they're used often throughout the story, but they're not the main focal point like they were in Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't really say. Like, there's 5 sagas. There's the Saiyan Saga, Namek Saga, the Frieza Saga, the Cell games. Oh no, the Android Saga, the Cell Saga, then the what's it called? Boo Saga. So there's 6.
Yeah,
I don't know how you want me to really explain the story because I'm not going to go over all 6 sagas. There's 257 episodes.
And
Sure,
now,
I mean,
and,
you know,
and
in
now for a synopsis, episode by episode, led by Brian.
yeah.
Episode 1.
Come on, carry on. No, I mean, it's basically just your anime strong guys getting stronger and beating up stronger enemies sequentially. And
It's a shonen. That's all I really know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what being a shonen means. I know it was in a magazine called Shonen Jump. I don't know if that's what it means.
I think so, but I mean, I'm not a manga aficionado. We'll leave that to Super Dave. That's his.
Does anybody have his phone number?
He would explain it in a heartbeat, and we would all be rapt because he does it so well. So this doesn't cover the entirety of Dragon Ball Z. It kind of leaves the Boo saga off of it, and I mean, Sam, how do you think this game does with regards to telling the story of Dragon Ball Z?
I mean, it's fine, and Boo wasn't included in this game because I don't think those episodes had come out in the U.S. yet.
I thought that the Boo saga was kind of an afterthought. Akira Toriyama wanted the story to end at the Cell games.
Yeah.
But the company Toei Animation wanted more Dragon Ball because, like, what did I read online? If they stopped making the manga, it could actually affect the Japanese economy.
That's true.
I believe it.
It is true. It is true. If Dragon Ball were to stop, like the impact, because that franchise just brings in, God, billions.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would drastically affect the Japanese economy, which is fucking wild.
That is really crazy. But as far as story in the game, I mean, it's kind of cool because it's a very, very abbreviated version of the show, and you don't get all of the show story beats because it's a pretty short couple of campaigns, but there's basically like 3 campaigns, one for each. I don't know if I should even call them campaigns, just like a series of fights, I guess, stitched together with some of the show. But we got the original voice actors, so that was cool.
Yeah, one of my biggest problem starting out this game is how they kind of just jumped through the Saiyan Saga. I mean, Raditz shows up, you have your fight with Raditz, and then you don't even get to control anybody but Goku from this point up until the end of the Frieza Saga. And once you're done with Raditz, you skip through the friggin' cutscenes, you get to King Kai's planet, power up, and then you're back and you're fighting Nappa. And it's just yada, yada, yada through a lot of battle scenes that would have been really fun to take control of. Like, I would have loved to die as Yamcha.
Yeah. Fucking Yamcha. Yeah, they really do it. It is pretty much just Goku's perspective for the main storylines. There's some alternate stuff, but not a whole lot. Like, it's like, you're playing as Goku, and then once you beat the game, you can go back in and play a little bit more, but there's a couple more where it's like you're maybe Vegeta or Piccolo. So it's pretty much main characters only.
Yeah. And I kind of found that a funny way of going around it, because while I do appreciate the fact that after you've completed the campaign, you can play these sort of interim fights as the other characters, I can't help but just wonder why that wasn't in the game straight from the off. And I know it's something that they improve in future iterations, but It's kind of strange to me because I'd forgotten that they were there. It's only because I accidentally went back into the story, which I don't think it really tells you can do. Then you get like the chapter select, and you see, oh, hang on, there are gaps, there are spaces. Like, what are these all about? And you can literally like follow Vegeta's fights on Namek, and like you say, some of Piccolo's fights, and all of that good stuff. And for my money, it's nice to get that variation to just try out some different fighters because the move sets in this game are pretty good, but still fairly limited considering.
It's another issue I have with this game is I'm a button masher. Don't give me fucking. I don't play fighting games because combos. I have to think too hard about it. Just I want to mash a button and that be my punch, and then that shoots his beams and whatever. And this game kind of gives you that because the Kamehameha is just like square, 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 circle,
Mm-hmm.
and then you shoot a Kamehameha, and that I'm fine with that. But everything else, no. After this third button, screw that. I'm done.
I really found. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say they couldn't really have locked that move behind anything too complicated, could
No.
they? Because you know that's kind of what you're here for. That's like making the Hadouken difficult to do. It's just it's iconic.
I think what they did was as you progress with at least some of your characters, like their signature move, there's like a few different inputs for that move. So like I don't know, it's like Vegeta's Gallic Gun or whatever. He's got like two or three different combos to do a Gallic Gun, and I think the more complicated ones might do more damage. I couldn't really verify that necessarily, but I mean you can rifle off a quick Kamehameha or Gallic Gun or beam cannon or whatever, and it doesn't really do all that much damage. But yeah, there were ones where you'd have to do like kick, forward kick, and then energy, and then it would also be a Kamehameha or something like that. And it's like, I think maybe it either just allows you to access those moves from different types of, so like you don't always have to be punching to do one. You could be doing some sort of combination of kicks and punches and also rifle one off if you can get the fucking inputs to work. So and that's a whole nother thing, but like I think it's either meant to be more powerful, or probably more likely what I just realized is that it's there for like, you know, you don't necessarily want to always be in punching. You might want to be doing something else, and you want to have the option to be able to do a special move if you're doing a different type of move or a different type of punch or kick, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. Some of those combinations are just so fucking fiddly, though. And,
Right.
you know, I think, like, for the record, like, what did you, because I played it on GameCube. What version did you guys play?
PS2.
I played the PS3.
Okay.
It's just a collection, so it's nothing in hand.
Right. Okay. Because I think we discovered that there were quite some significant differences between the versions, because the PlayStation version came out a full year before the GameCube one did, because I didn't have all that much trouble with the inputs. You know, there was no noticeable lag or anything like that. And you know, I wonder if that's perhaps something that they improved on in that year between releases. It was also quite interesting the fact that I didn't get the recognizable voice acting. Yeah, my copy is all completely in Japanese and subtitled, and did not have the fucking Rock the Dragon theme tune, which I will be deducting a point for, because
I was just reading that the European version had neither Hey Chala or the Rock the Dragon, because I felt that European audiences weren't familiar with the intros, the famous intros from Dragon Ball, both in Japan and North America.
absolutely baffling.
Annoying. That's fucking
Because
annoying,
even
isn't
if-
it? It's like you let us decide what we're familiar with and not familiar with. You fuck.
My God, I don't recognize this awesome Rock the Dragon song,
Right.
and I'm not going to associate it with the game I'm playing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, the audience is not familiar with this particular tune. I'm just like, well, you know what that means? It means I get to listen to this fucking awesome tune for the first time ever. Like,
Right.
how cool is that? Because
Yeah.
that Rock the Dragon is just iconic. I know Head Chala is, it's a great, iconic, recognizable theme tune, but that Rock the Dragon is what I would come home and listen to, and it just got me fucking pumped, right? And when I found out you guys had that to open up your game, I was pretty pissed. Not
They
gonna
Oh yeah,
lie.
they play it any chance they get.
I
Really?
think I posted that in the Discord, didn't I? The intro.
Yeah, and I was like, "Buh? The fuck is that?"
Brr.
Uh-huh.
Brr.
Uh-huh. But
There
yeah,
it is.
there it is. Um, yeah. So while you're talking about like the differing powers of like moves and what have you, I think what I found was most effective for making those big flashy beams more powerful is actually the wealth of transformations that this game affords you, which you can unlock as the game goes on. Obviously, the Saiyan transformations, Piccolo's transformations, all of that stuff. You know, being able to get that shit and your general sort of energy up. You know, there was a definite sort of change in the game when you did that, right?
I found that funny when I was fighting Frieza there, that I'd go back to base Goku and I'd just like, yeah, it doesn't happen, and no.
Yeah, but I'll still win.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't win. That third form of Frieza fucked me up.
Oh
What a
yeah, no,
beast.
that's probably the hardest part of the game.
100%. 100%. But yeah, it is. I mean, while it is great that you get the ability, because that's what you want in a game like this, you want to be able to go Super Saiyan. The problem is, it's just that if your energy then drops and you get knocked to the floor, you'll instantly revert to the previous form, or the highest form that you can go on the energy bar that you're on. And some of these transformations are fucking paper thin. Like, I was fighting Cell with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and literally, like, straight out of the gate, he would knock me down and I'd just transform back into regular Gohan. I'm just like, well, that's not the fucking point. I'm supposed to be a beast right now. Like, I'm
Right.
supposed to be winning this fight hands down.
Yeah.
I think the
Ugh.
problem is that they made so you have this. We should probably explain what we're talking about a little bit if you haven't played it. Like you have your health meter, and what game is it? Is Tekken like this, where it's kind of a 3D style fighter where you can kind of pivot like sideways and reverse. So it's like it's in a 2D plane, but you can pivot 3D wise, like towards the screen or away from you.
Yeah.
And then also there's 3 life bars. So you have like a green, yellow, and red life bar. You got to fight your way through all 3 of them to either win or be defeated. And then you have your energy bar on the bottom, which you build up by landing punches and kicks. And I think it even builds up if the opponent is blocking. You might get some extra energy too. And then maxes out at 7. And then every time you pass a certain level, like the characters will have like Super Saiyan. If you have, it's called the Kai. Did you say Kai or Ki?
E.
Ki. Okay, so there's a Ki gauge.
Ki.
It's Ki. Ki. The Ki gauge. If that sounds weird. I always called it Kai, but
Yeah, I always called it
But
Kai.
Kai is spelled
Kai.
Kai. It's
Yeah,
literally
I know.
Dragon Ball Kai.
well, Ki. The Ki gauge. When
E and Chi.
yeah, when the Ki gauge gets above 5, for example, you can transform into Super Saiyan. But what happens is, once you're in that elevated transformation, you have to continue to perform at a high level, or your energy will drop because that starts your energy on a decline. You can replenish it by fighting more, but using your energy attacks or just being in that elevated energy state will drain your energy, which kind of sucks because we're the long way around is what I was going to say is I think that goes too fast sometimes. It decreases way too fast.
Oh yeah.
You also lose
It's actually
ki
a
by
noted.
blocking.
It's a noted problem with this game is that you do get a good power bump when you transform, like 10% extra power, but your key goes down way too fast.
It's so fast. It's just like when you get knocked down, you'll probably lose your Super Saiyan because it's like, well, I was fighting and also blocking, and the thing is just naturally going down. So anytime you get knocked down, you're just going to lose it.
Yeah, you go from a 5 to a 2, and you don't have a transformation at 2, so you basically lose everything you've got. And you can obviously just stand there and charge your energy up.
Yeah,
but the enemy's not going to
that's
let
true.
you do that.
No, they'll rush you, and yeah.
Big time. So, you know, if you do knock them down, like that is the best time to sort of just stand there, just charging your energy up. But you have to use it wisely. And I guess, you know, that's kind of true to the show. Obviously, higher states of power being a massive drain, but Brian, you're right. It does go way too fucking fast, and you just get a taste of this like Super Saiyan 2 or something like that, and then all of a sudden it's gone. It's just like, no, with a game that's as cinematic as this, I want it to look the way I want it to look, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it kind of takes you out of the story when you're in the middle of one of those fights, like the epic fights where Goku turns Super Saiyan or Gohan turns Super Saiyan 2, and you're like, this is how the fight's supposed to be throughout, and they can't just like lock you into it for the fight. You go back to your base form, and it's just kind of like, it doesn't happen, like I said, and it takes you a little bit out of the I guess the role playing, that you put yourself into the shoes of Gohan as he's kicking the crap out of the Cell Juniors.
Yeah.
But you can't really do that because now you're base form Gohan again, and you're getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah. Of course, I don't mind when it happens to the enemies.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, they can go fuck themselves.
Like that, bitches.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to throw another one in here because why the fuck not? What's your favorite saga? Just in Dragon Ball in general, you can pick any of them.
Cell Saga.
Cell Saga, really interesting.
I'm a Gohan guy, and when Gohan turned Super Saiyan 2, and the original Japanese version, not like the North American Ocean dub and all that kind of crap, I feel like they kind of missed the awesomeness of it. Like they played that that song, and like the you see Gohan as he steps on Android 17's
16.
Yeah, 17's chip there, and he like goes into Gohan's eyes, and the beam of light flashes behind his head, and you know, like after the little bird flies in front of that song plays, goosebumps. And then Dragon Ball Z Abridged redid it and like put English lyrics to the song, and greatest moment in Dragon Ball Z since the original series, Japanese series did. So beautiful.
Wow, that I felt the passion. And it's true, yeah, that is a great moment. Sam, what about you?
Man, I would say it's really tough, but I think my like peak fandom for Dragon Ball Z was really around like this when the Frieza saga was first airing, or at least when I first saw it. So I was probably in like 7th or 8th grade at this point. I think that's the one where I would, you know, rush home from school to catch it, or I would, you know, set up the VCR to like tape it, which is insane to think about nowadays. But and that's also when the trading card game came out, and I played that for a bit. I had some I actually got to meet the voice actor that did Goku and Vegeta.
Don Schemmel.
Yeah. And Vegeta too, or Vegeta, Piccolo, Goku.
Christopher Sabat.
Yes.
Christopher Sabat does so many goddamn voices nowadays, you cannot not hear him.
Yeah,
that's true.
He's in One Piece, he's in Black Clover, he's and it always sounds like Piccolo with like a little hint of something different.
Yeah.
I just wish I could find them, but I had the promo version of the Dragon Ball Z trading cards, like the level 4 version of, I think it was like Goku, Piccolo, I want to say Vegeta, and maybe that was it, but they were all signed.
Man, I didn't even know there was a trading card.
That was cool. It was a fun. They still have it, I think.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun.
They have a phone app version of it now too, I think.
All right, well, I'm gonna lose myself to that.
There was actually
there was
a series. There was a series that came out on YouTube called Dragon Ball Heroes, and it was just promotional anime for the card game that they had, or the app that they had, and it was basically this whole story that takes place during the time of Dragon Ball Super, because Goku could go Ultra Instinct. And yeah, it was actually really neat. Like they had Gold Cooler there, like Gold Frieza's brother.
Is that the one that's got like Cumber and Hearts and all of that stuff in it?
Yeah, that's it.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips of it. It does look pretty interesting.
Well,
Kind of a
people have
multiversal kind of
yeah.
thing.
It used to be like 6, 7 minute episodes, and then somebody took it and smashed it all together into like a 2.5 hour movie.
That's
Oh, I'm
cool.
gonna fucking. So now I'm gonna collect cards on my phone and watch that shit on my phone. Good times. Namek,
Yeah,
if you're
basically
interested.
that's my favorite. I think is Frieza. There was so much going
For-
on. Like you have the Ginyu Force. You had I
Mhm.
forgot about Dodora, and is that his name? Dodora
Yeah,
Dodoria and Zarbon. And
Zarbon.
what
Yeah.
Brian is about to do is he's about to try and clarify as to whether you mean the Frieza saga or the Namek saga.
You
yeah,
know, it's
because
both.
the Frieza
Probably
saga.
both. One leads into the other.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
The Frieza saga starts when Goku shows up to fight Frieza, but you're right. For storytelling wise, the Namek saga is the best. For the moment in the show, it's that moment in the Cell saga.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, Namek saga is my favorite because it's just so scrappy and desperate and back and forth and just
And
tense. And the Frieza saga is great, but it just takes a bit too fucking. There, they take some
yeah,
liberties with that 5 minutes.
can we appreciate that fight was so long that it actually got its own saga?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the whole reason for that was because they were caught up to the manga at the time,
Right.
and they had to stretch it out to let the manga get ahead. And boy, that's where Goku yelling for 5 episodes came.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
why
not
that's why the
actually
Spirit
know
Bomb
that.
takes like a fucking week.
Fucking spirit bomb. Anyway, speaking of, I actually managed to pull off the spirit bomb in this game, and
Did you
it
really?
felt I did once or twice. Very fucking satisfying. But you know what? Two of my favorite moves in this game that I were actually able to pull off were the instant transmission Kamehameha,
Oh,
and
yes.
perhaps my favorite move in the entire game was the final flash. Because
Oh.
I do appreciate a good final flash. I think it's a great move.
I theorize they only call it the final flash because fuck all of you is not something they could have said on TV at the time.
That's
Actually,
it, killing you both. Big bang attack.
shit, I forgot about the instant transmission Kamehameha. That might be a better one than I don't know. The father son one is just so heartwarming. So maybe that's a like a 1A 1B. That one's so cool.
That is very cool. Very cool. And that's why I was spamming it against Cell, because I wanted that to be the thing that finished the fight because it just made the most sense.
Isn't that so cool when you're trying so hard to like monitor how much health your opponent has left so that you could like finish with a cool move instead of just like a little donkey punch. Like I had it so many times
Yeah.
where they'd be blocking so much with like a sliver of health left that finally I just like one punch I'd just be like psh, just a KO, like just fine, fuck off.
99% of my fights ended with like a 4-punch combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes this game just does not care about how cinematic you want to make it, because
Yeah.
however I got the win over Freezer in this fucking game is just like, you know what, I'll take a kick in the nuts at this point. Just let me fucking win. But no, they were.
That's
Go ahead.
I was gonna say some of this game probably could have done a little bit better, like Kakarot does it. If you end in a special move in Kakarot, it'll show like the planet and then the beam firing off into space, and you're just like you fucked the guy up. They could have done something like that in this game, where even if you just hit him with like a little softy punch, maybe have like a quick cinematic where he just finishes him off with his signature move.
I guess.
Probably would not have taken a lot of effort for them to program that in.
I mean, I kind of feel like this game was not so much a proof of concept, but it was sort of. I think they did the best that they could at the time, and I'm sure if they could have put that sort of stuff in, they would, because otherwise, I mean,
we're talking the PS2 era here. They've already had like a generation of practice on 3D games, and 3D fighting games have been abundant by this time.
Yeah,
so-
I mean, it kind of feels like or plays like I don't know. Tekken had a 3D. I mean, there's probably people like fucking screaming at the like. Are you kidding? I've not played much Tekken, but like Virtua Fighter, right? Like,
yeah.
I think you could kind of dodge and weave a little bit in Virtua Fighter like this. I don't know. Yeah.
All I'm saying is that this this and games like it, where it sort of started, and then you look at Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and that's doing the shit that Brian's talking about, just these big flashy finishes. And I don't think I can ding this game for not having that sort of thing, because it is like the first in the series, sort of. But I do, yeah. I mean, sometimes it does feel like when you've just beaten this big epic fight with just a friendly slap on the back of the head, it's just like, ah,
Yeah.
I wanted the big flashy finish.
I do like
It's
I do like dodging around the
unsatisfying.
enemy, so as they're doing like a charge up punch or something like that, and just making them completely miss, and then just wailing on them. That's so satisfying.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't fly in this game, can you?
You can't.
Like if you are up in the air, you float down gingerly to the ground.
Yeah, there's no like there is a little bit of an air element, but you can't like intentionally take off. The only way that you can get into the air is if one of either you or your opponent launch the other with attacks, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You could get knocked into the air, and then you know you can spend the rest of the fight up there, but you don't really have any control over the up and the down.
Yeah,
That was
there were also
I don't know,
some
that's kind of
environments-
annoying to me.
I don't know, like there were also some environments where like if you got up into the air like on Namek, and then I think in like the Saiyan Saga where they're in that like kind of field with some like mountains or hills or whatever, like if you got bashed through, like you would get knocked off the kind of the plane of battle or whatever, like the arena, and then it would shoot you through like mountains and stuff, and then you would land somewhere else. It looked very similar, but it was just kind of cool. Like once you got to like the boundaries of it, it would kind of launch you, and then you'd get pursued or whatever. Same with like the tournament mode, which we didn't talk about too much yet. It's in a square ring, and if you get launched out or launch the opponent out, it is another way to win the fight. Like you can either knock them out or you can knock them out of the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, which is, I mean, the tournament mode is it is cool, and it is nice to play because it's the exact same setting as you've seen in Dragon Ball. I didn't dabble too much with it, but I got in deep on that the first time around I played this. Like I was playing every tournament because you get Zenny, you get the currency of Dragon Ball to play around with, and you can use that to buy capsules from Mr. Popo for new. All of these names and terms we're throwing around, I just figure like if somebody knows nothing about Dragon Ball right now, they're like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? But no, you can buy extra moves, extra characters, and you can customize your character with all of these moves in quite a substantial way, which I really appreciated.
There were some cool ones. Like I didn't get to unlock a lot of the capsules outside of the ones that you get from just the game in general, like playing through the story mode, but you could completely customize a character with different moves and stuff, unless there were moves that were specific to certain characters, like Gallic Gun or something like that. Like I think that was Vegeta only, and Gohan was the only one that can do Super Saiyan 2, and like Super Saiyan, obviously you can't make Krillin go Super Saiyan as much as you might want to, but you could.
No hair.
Yeah,
that's
no
all
hair.
about the hair.
Just his pubes.
Yeah.
But you could.
Oh, he shaves those, buddy.
But you can pick and choose. Like if there were just generic moves, you could pick and choose moves to put on as long as the game would let you. And then also there were like additional abilities that you could add. There was one like in the Cell Saga or the Android Saga. There's that heart virus that Goku has, that Trunks comes from the future to warn him about, and you can use that as an in-game ability that basically all it does is it makes both life meters decrease while you're fighting, which is insane. But I mean, it's something that you can equip to a customized character, and if you want to use that, you certainly can. But that kind of stuff was cool. I didn't play around with it too much this time around, but yeah, I think that's neat.
Yeah, I like that it was in there because this could have been just pick your characters, here's your move set, and go ahead like most other Dragon Ball games do. Like I think back to my beloved Hyper Dimension, and it's you've got the characters you know and love, and you've got their movesets, and that's it. And it's a great fucking game. But this, I like that they did a little bit extra in so much as, it gives you a reason to keep replaying the game. Because you
Yes.
want to unlock all of the abilities. There are extra characters to unlock, which, you want to play around with and see what they're capable of. Which makes sense with a roster of characters this deep.
For sure. And we didn't really mention it, but I really think I played more of. I did like this game at the time, but once I got Budokai 2, like all bets were off. I was playing that instead.
Sure.
So I think this game did a lot to at least like kind of get the ball rolling, the Dragon Ball rolling.
Ooh.
But I mean, Budokai 2 really like picked up the torch and ran with it. And then you got, obviously, I think there's Budokai 3, and now there's like all kinds of Dragon Ball Z fighting games that I think aren't they played at Evo? Sometimes there's a Dragon Ball Z game featured at Evo.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z, it's the latest one, and
Yeah.
it's taken the fighting genre by storm.
But
Yeah.
all those games, draw their lineage from this game. I mean that's really
Absolutely.
the start of the series.
Not necessarily. Dragon Ball GT Final Bout came out before this one.
Okay, but I'm not talking about that.
But was it any good? That's the question. I don't know. I never played that one, so I shouldn't say.
And did it
anything,
even
but
come out over here? Like,
Yeah, it did. Actually, it was between that and Final Fantasy VII when I had Christmas money, and I convinced my brother to chip in on Final Fantasy VII. So, good thing, because it is a terrible game.
Well, there you go. I mean, I think the point holds true for the fact that this is perhaps one of the games that people actually played that inspired all future Dragon Ball games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think Dragon Ball GT was doing anything to move the needle at the time.
Or saying that though, Super Saiyan 4.
Well, right. I mean, you have that, but I mean, like as a game, I don't think it was as influential
No.
as this one. I don't know.
I am going to go on record and say that until Dragon Ball Dai or Daima came out, Super Saiyan 4 was the worst transformation.
Really? You say that in full view of Super Saiyan 3?
Yes, because they didn't use Super Saiyan 3 like they used Super Saiyan 4.
Is that where they
Super
just got,
Saiyan
like,
3 was like a
ridiculously
one and
long
done?
hair?
Yeah, it's like a one and done, or maybe it was used twice total, and then Super Saiyan 4 was just... It disrespected Vegeta, who cheated to get it.
Yeah, okay, I guess, but
Also, and if we're talking games that are influential to all future Dragon Ball games, guys forgot Dragon Power.
which there will be an episode of coming shortly.
On Quick Play, yeah.
It's in the archives, and I'm going to say no more about it here because I'm trying to stay in a good mood.
There is a lot of Japanese ones. Holy crap.
Yeah, there's
there
a
are.
ton. That's why
There
I was
are.
asking about that Dragon Ball GT game, because like it's funny that they would release it. Like we barely got that series released. Like I never saw the series, but I don't know. By that time, I might not have been as tuned in. But
All I'm saying is Super Saiyan 4 won fights. Super Saiyan 3 did not.
that's why you need 4. Because
That's
it's
why you
one
need
better.
4. It is one better.
And what about Super Saiyan 5? Why didn't they go Super Saiyan 5 check and or mate?
Because they decided to go for a sort of multicolored approach. God, blue, grey, silver.
Yeah, which one's the blue? I actually kind of fell off after Cell.
Super Saiyan Blue is the Dragon Ball Super version of Super Saiyan Red without the 5 Saiyans to make it happen.
Well, that makes
So you
no
got Super
sense.
Saiyan Red, which is basically Saiyan God power.
Yeah.
And the movie based around it is you have to have 5 Saiyans to be able to make a 6-1 into a Super Saiyan God, and he fights Beerus.
Yep.
Super Saiyan Blue is them achieving Super Saiyan God level without that 5 Saiyan thing.
No.
Do you ever have that thing happen where you ask a question and then the explanation makes you more confused?
Super Saiyan God is just basically Goku accessing God Ki. And then Super Saiyan Blue is him in God Ki, but then activating Super Saiyan.
Sure. Okay.
So Super Saiyan Red is a new base, and then Blue is
Okay, now
base.
explain Super Saiyan Rose.
That is a transformation unique to fuck. What was his name?
Goku Black.
Yeah, but what was his actual name?
Oh, the Ninth Universe Kai. I can't remember.
Voiced by James Masters, even though he didn't want anyone to know it was him.
All right.
Well, way to let the
here.
fucking cat out of the bag.
It was his apology for Dragon Ball Evolution. That's gonna fucking bother me now. Anyway, can we talk about how good this game fucking looks?
It does look good. Although I would say Budokai 2 then blows it out of the water with the cell shading. I mean that looks perfect. This looks very good though. Like this is like one of those times where you see these characters that you watch every day and are familiar with and love, and then they're like fully realized in 3D, and you can interact with them and stuff.
I mean, it definitely.
That's kind of the selling point of the game, is you get to take on the role of childhood fantasy of being Goku. Again, that's where the game falls flat.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say it would fall flat. I mean, it looks stunning. I mean, it looks like you're playing an episode of the show, as far as I'm concerned. You know, with certain liberties taken, of course, but you know, it's bright, it's colourful, like everything just looks cool. You know, it just looks like it should look. Yeah, whether or not it delivers from the sort of story point of view is, you know, neither here nor there. Mostly neither here.
I don't know. I'm looking at screenshots of Budokai 2 and 3, and it makes this game look really dated.
Yeah,
I know, but that's not the one we're talking about.
I know. I really want a copy of 2 now, though.
I think I've got that upstairs. I think I've got the PS2 version, but 3 I don't have.
If I got 2, I tell you what.
3 in the PS3 collection.
I tell you what, if I got 2, I would probably just like fall into a hole of just playing that game over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, they definitely you know, took what did and didn't work about this game and just sort of built on it, which that's what you do with games, right? I mean, this was a great effort out of the gate, and they just tweaked it. I don't know. I've got a lot of love for this game. It looks great. Sounds.
I'm just kidding.
Looks great.
Brian's
plays okay.
Brian's just in his adversarial mode right now. It's just.
It's not that I'm in the adversarial mode. It's just this is exactly what I expected when I started up this game, and it was literally the limp-wristed Dragon Ball that has been done way better today, and it's hard to go back to this one just because of those things. Like I want to immerse myself in the story, and that's what you get to do nowadays in Dragon Ball Kakarot and, you know, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. You get to Fighter Z. I've seen videos. You get the over-the-top fighting, and it's great. And you know, Kakarot, you're playing the story as it is. So it's going back to this. It just felt like we stepped too far back into the evolution of this, and we're not even out of the ocean yet. Nothing's walking on land.
Well, I mean, we picked the wrong day to be a retro gaming podcast then.
Hey, well, we got to compare retro games to today. Like we recommend, you know, a bunch of people who don't give a shit about our opinion really, but we recommend whether the game is worth playing today or if there's something better out there. And if there's something better out there, I'm going to recommend playing the better thing. Yeah,
no, I agree. Like, especially when you're talking, like, I played Kakarot not all that long ago on Switch and just had a really fucking good time with it. And, you know, you're right. You know, every game has evolved. It's gotten better. The fighting genre as a whole has gotten better. And I don't think necessarily that this is one of the, like, pinnacles of the fighting genre. But I just think as a bit of fan service, I think there is a lot to love here.
I'll concede that point. There is a lot to love because of the fan service. And you guys, like, I never actually finished the main story. So, you know, I'm talking mostly out of my ass, but you get a good idea of what this game is going to be. But you said there's after story content, almost what ifs, or is it just stories from other people's perspective?
Well, there's one what if, right? I mean, there's
Go on.
okay. So there's, I mean, you get to play as. So basically, if you go back through the Saiyan Saga, you get some Piccolo stuff. So you get some Piccolo content and some Vegeta content. I think no Piccolo content only, and it unlocks more of his moves, which is great. And then you go into the Frieza, and while you're in the kind of the Namek saga, you get a few extra Vegeta fights, and then it switches, and you get to play as Frieza, and basically you get like a what if Frieza won basically and got to use the Dragon Balls to wish for eternal life or whatever. I mean it's kind of a flop because it's like, well, that's dumb because like he's just gonna be invincible and that's pretty much it, and that's how it ends. but you get to you get to use a fully formed Frieza to beat the shit out of Gohan.
Did you not get the other what ifs then?
Were there more?
Because yeah, there's the what if in the Saiyan Saga where you play as Vegeta, and for some reason, and I never understood why, like you are Vegeta fighting Goku, and you have to do this basically boss rush where you fight Goku, Krillin, and then Gohan all on one life bar. And if you do that, then Yajirobe shows up, and he's just like, you know, oh, I like you, you're sneaky, says Vegeta, and why don't you join me? And it's just like, what, like that guy you killed? And he's just like, then for some reason he gets really pissed off that he's mentioned Nappa, who Vegeta himself killed, and basically the thing ends with Vegeta going Super Saiyan in the Saiyan Saga because of it.
Yeah, that must be extra content for the GameCube then. That's pretty cool. Because the only real alternate stuff on PS2 was Frieza.
Ah, because then you get one at the end of the Cell Saga as well, which I found which is fucking hilarious.
Well, what happens in that one? Now you get lay it on us.
Well, obviously you get to play as Cell, working your way through fighting all the androids to absorb them and what have you. And just as Cell is about to absorb Android 18, Krillin gets in the way, pushes her out the way, and you end up absorbing Krillin. And you end up as short, stubby, Krillin-like Cell with a greatly reduced power. And then you just have to fight both Tien and Yamcha, and of course Yamcha ends up beating Cell, and that's when he wakes up in the Cell arena and just says, maybe 10 days was too long to wait.
That's incredible.
Right?
I want to play as Short King freaking Cell. I like the mini cells. Those are hilarious. They're like,
well, it kind of looks like that. I'm gonna see if I can't there it is. I'm going to send this over to you. This is going to make great fucking radio, but because you have to see this. You have to see this thing. And
I just looked it up. That is hilarious.
There you go. There it is, Sam.
Oh my god. And then wait, is that the okay, no, is that from the is that a screenshot
this picture has obviously come from a different game, but
okay, I was going to say like, oh, if that's how the GameCube one looked, that's why you think it's so awesome.
Well, I do think the GameCube one looks a hell of a lot better. I think
it probably does. Yeah,
that looks like that's come from Fighter Z. That picture, but still.
I like how you get that like patchwork Frieza, like the reconstructed Frieza.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Oh, that's hot. I gotta probably play Fighters or Kakarot. I've not played either of those, and I've been interested in them, but just haven't wanted to get into another game like this. But now I'm kind of interested.
Let me posit that if we all play Dragon Ball FighterZ, perhaps we could all play it together.
That's true. Oh, all right.
And then we could air out company grievances online.
Yeah, look at the calendar as you're like punching the shit out of me.
Anyway, you know what? I think anyone else got anything else they want to say?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm looking up videos of the GameCube version versus the PlayStation version, and I think Sam might be onto something. The GameCube version looks better.
Yeah, because I definitely agree that it looks good, but it's like I'm with Brian where it's like, I mean, it's very dated.
Yeah, like you know his arms clip through his shirt. not great. But if the GameCube one came out a year later, they had time to touch up the
Yeah.
graphics, right?
And add
I'm
cool
pretty
alternate stories. Fuck.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, this is not going to be completely unbiased, is it? Oh, well, we'd better... Well, before we... unless anyone's got anything else to say,
I do not.
No, I'm good.
before we wrap shit
Bye.
up, who is your favourite character in Dragon Ball in any series? Who's your guy or your gal?
Probably Piccolo.
Oh, nice. Toriyama's favourite.
I'm a big Piccolo fan. Well, because I like that. I like that he's evil until him and Goku team up early in the Saiyan Saga, and then I like that he can fuse with other Nameks, and he basically gets to kind of more or less Super Saiyan level based on.
I like
Yeah.
that you said he's evil until he joins up with Goku, and my head was just like, do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
I know. I'm paraphrasing. Like I'm summarizing. Like he's evil King Piccolo in the beginning, right? Like that's where he starts out. Yeah. I don't know. I like Piccolo.
What about you, Brian?
Well, first off, Zamasu is the name you were thinking of earlier.
Oh, Zamasu. Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna go with Gohan. When I was a kid, I loved Gohan. Like after the Saiyan Saga, starting from the Namek Saga when he came into his own, that's when I started liking him. And then the Cell Saga, he turned Super Saiyan, then Super Saiyan 2, and then you get what's it called, Ultimate Gohan there in the Cell Saga. He's like cocky and arrogant. I wish they kind of transitioned him as the kind of Goku successor instead of just turning him into the Dragon Ball Super nothing he became at the beginning of that series.
Yeah. What do you think of Beast?
I like the concept because it puts him on the level of Goku. Don't like the hairstyle.
No, that's a bit much, even for a series that's known for its hairstyles. I'm a Vegeta guy through and through.
Because it sounds like vagina.
No, funnily enough, hadn't
chicken
considered
Vegetas.
that angle. Chicken fajitas. I just think he's a fucking dickhead, and I love him for it. You know, I like that he started off as a villain until he met Goku, and now he's one of the good guys, and he confused with other Saiyans, and that's kind of cool. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but yeah, he's my guy, especially abridged Vegeta because he is the hype.
So can I ask you a big question? How hungry do you think Akira Toriyama was when he named all his characters?
Very hungry.
Oh yeah, aren't they
And
aren't they all foods?
Yeah. Vegeta is vegetable, Tarble, Table. Bardock is a Japanese root vegetable, burdock. Yes, I'm looking this up right now.
I was gonna say, how
Brawly
did
is
you
after
go?
Brock.
How did you go to Tarball from fucking Vegeta? That's a pull. Raditz.
Brawly has broccoli. Cauliflower is obviously cauliflower. Kaba is cabbage. Kale, obviously, I'm going to get into the one. Kakarot is carrot.
I mean, the dude was
Kappa.
It's got the same energy of somebody who's just looking around at the room just to name things. It's just like...
but
like,
it's specifically
I
vegetables.
I need to name these characters, but all I have is my grocery list.
Yeah.
I've
just tended my garden, and now I'm gonna. Maybe he came up with it, but based on like he's tending his garden, and he's like, and then the carrots are fighting with the other vegetables, and.
Oh, I'm going swimming today. I must make sure I pack my trunks. Hold on. Oh, good times. Right, I think we've I think we've killed this even more than Yamcha. So, who wants to sum up? Who wants to start things off? Brian, you're new to the game.
Oh.
Go on.
Well, obviously, it's not going to be getting a super high score out of me because I've made my feelings known. I actually gave up playing this to move on to the next game, just because I felt I played it as much as I want to. I kind of regret buying the Budokai. They call it the Budokai collection, but it only has 1 and 3 in it. For some reason, they just completely skipped 2. So it's probably a great game, like Sam says. I found the fighting very frustrating in this game. It was very unresponsive. The move sets, there's way too many moves, and if you're somebody like me who likes to mash the buttons, it becomes hard to try to do these combos and things like that. And then, of course, you power up and you're in the next level, you're transformed, and your bar just goes down way too fast, and that takes you out of the fight as well. That and the difficulty of some of the fights, I bumped it down to easy, and I was still having a problem winning, like the Frieza fight. And by the end of my playthrough, I was just no longer having fun with this game. Like I've said, it has been done better since. There's better ways to play it. Even if you're a retro fan, I would even go with Sam's recommendation to start with 2. The yada 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 through the story is almost a slap in the face if you're really trying to get into the lore of Dragon Ball Z as you play this game. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 because its value is that it's Dragon Ball. If you really, really have no other option because you only have enough money to buy this game, or this is the only thing left on the planet after we destroy it, I'd say play it. Otherwise, find something a little bit newer, something a little bit better.
You would play this game if it was the last game on Earth. Sam, you got to have something.
If it was the last game on Earth, I would have to.
I'd go searching for Budokai 2.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Are you sure you don't have Budokai 2? Can you check again?" All right, yeah, I think I've made my thoughts pretty clear throughout. This game is fun, but it isn't quite what 2 became. I think this game got us started, but 2 really picked up grabbed the torch and ran with it. So once I had 2, I didn't touch 1 again when I was in high school and college. I think even into college, I was playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, like almost exclusively, and just like playing it repeatedly to try to get all the capsules in Budokai 2. Like I just remember being obsessed. So that is the better game in my opinion. But this game was fun and I've got good memories of it. So I think I don't know. I'm not going to give it as low a score as Brian because I've got the nostalgia bump. I really do I had to turn it down. The difficulty starts on easy. So you can have like, I don't know if it's easy inputs and easy comm or whatever, but there's like a couple of different settings. I just had to like turn it down to very easy because I was finding that I just think the game doesn't control very well. And to be honest, I think it just basically either my controller's old or it just straight up ignores my input, which I talked to Brian who was playing it on the PS3 while we were playing it. And he's like, nope, it just fucking sucks. So,
yep.
A lot of times there's a lot of just warts, I guess, that this game has, but man, do I have some good memories of it. So like Brian said, like don't go looking for this if you're looking for a good retro fighting game. Pick up Budokai 2 if you can. That's probably the better one. So I'm gonna give this like a 6.5, just because I enjoy it and I enjoy the series, and I'm a filthy casual when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, as you all found out, because I don't know who half these fucking characters are. But yeah, very surface level fan here, but I like this game.
Don't worry, Sam. Will learns you.
Okay.
If you guys can teach me Pokemon, I can teach you Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, that's another one that's like, Jesus Christ. Like
I think, as we've kind of discovered as we've been talking, I clearly had the better time at this game, and I think that's a lot of that is down to the fact that I played it on the GameCube. I think there is a lot to be said for that year that they had between releases to sort of polish this game up. So a lot of the stuff that you guys have been talking about was not my experience of the game. I did find it controlled very well. I did think the graphics looked maybe not spectacular, but for the time, very, very true to the anime and what have you. So, it presents itself very, very well. If, with the caveat, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, to say to what Brian said there, because it does skip over so much of the story and what have you, I can see that perhaps there'd be limited appeal for somebody who wasn't intimately familiar with the story that's being told. Like, you really have to know what's going on to follow the story. So I do think that hurts it somewhat. It sounds great, although my copy being sort of Japanese with the subtitles, without those subtitles I'd be fucked. And some of the voices did kind of grate on me every once in a while when I'm a little bit pissed that I didn't get my beloved Rock the Dragon and the Americanized voice actors that we know and love so well. Be really interested to actually play this again with all of that there, but I don't know how I'd get a copy. There is an unbalance with the difficulty in this game. I mean, I played up to Freezer on medium, and then I had to drop it down to easy and even then, as you said, I was up against a brick wall. So some balancing issues where it comes to it. And like I said, this is not the pinnacle of the fighting genre. As a fighting game, I think it's fairly mid. But from the point of view of a Dragon Ball fan, particularly Dragon Ball Z, there is a lot to love here. There's a lot of fan service, as I said. And, yeah, I can't argue with the fact that 2 and 3 are far, far better. But I can't punish this game for future games being better than it, because it kind of started here. It started the trend of working out those kinks to get us to where we are today. So I think it is significant in that respect. I'm going to give it a 7.5. It certainly loses something for some of those difficulty spikes. But no, I enjoy it. And maybe one day I will play it again. And I love Dragon Ball.
I wish I would have been able to play the GameCube version. Fuck.
Ah, shucks.
Well,
I could have. I just didn't know it existed.
Well, maybe
there you go.
Maybe we amend our statement. Like, if you want to start with this, if you want to try to play this game, try. If you have a GameCube, go for the GameCube version for sure. If you have a choice, otherwise, Budokai 2.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
We've met a consensus. We were enemies, but then we met, and now we're friends. Just like everyone who's ever met Goku.
He's the best.
But the people he killed in the end aren't his friend. You see them down in the Home for Infinite Losers, which is one of my favorite edits of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
North America is getting rid of Hell.
Home for Infinite Losers. HFIL. Yeah, HFIL. Oh, it's so fucking lame. I love it. Okay. I think that's going to do it for probably the only Dragon Ball heavy episode that we'll have for quite some time. At least until we decide that Sam needs to play Budokai 2. And then we'll lose him forever.
Yeah, that'll be the last episode, because that's the last game I'll play, because I'll get back into it so hard.
That's it. Did anyone remember to feed Sam?
And as one battle ends, another is on the horizon. Will Brian get the episode edited on time? Will Alan get the gentleman's interlude done before the last minute? And will Sam ever look at the schedule? Find out all this and more on the next exciting episode of Retrotopia Z.
Hi there everyone. We here at Retrotopia couldn't do what we do without the support of our Patreons. And to that effect, we would like to shout out our heroes at the hero tier. So a huge Retrotopia thank you from all of the hosts here to Andrew Wright, Wildcard, Unbuckled Cape, Makeshift Money, Sergeant Ombre, Randy Berridge, BCOS19, J Nasty 15, Chris Kaplane, Jack Datchler, Sir Bustalot, Big Kid 782, Super Dave, Big Brown Dog, Stud Still Smash, Fallen Snow Kiku, Radmac, Calin Hygus, Old Man Gamer, Raging Demon, Radioactive Hooli, Blue Shell Discharge, The Big Deal, Dylan Jacobson, Game Genius, H, Brother Retro, Shane's World, Ovindali, Zane Donovan, Brian Spritzer. So thanks as always for your support, guys. It truly means the world to us and means we can keep doing this little thing that we love so much. Game on.